Baye. Today here with me, I have Barsenet Wondwossen, who's an accounts manager in Orbit Health. Welcome.
Hi, Maklit. Thank you, everyone, for having me here.
Okay, so is it okay if I address you as Bars? Because normally that's what I call you.
Yeah, sure, of course.
Okay, great. So to start off, just tell me a little bit about yourself and introduce yourself to our audience.
Okay, so as Maklit has mentioned, my name is Barsenet, and I've been working at OrbitCast for the past 2 years as an account manager. In high school, I went to Nazareth School, and I went to Mosquito and had a software engineering degree. And straight out of there, I just joined Orbit Health, and I've been working there ever since. So I think that's about it.
Great. So you said you went to Nazareth High School and then you went to college. So how was the transition for you? Because I know Nazareth is an all-girls school.
That's true, yeah. So what made it more difficult was the fact that I had none of my friends with me. We were all dispersed all over the country, and most of them were like in medicine or in ARC, and we weren't together. So I was practically alone, and I've never went to class with boys before, so it was really different. But yeah, I think I'm easy to talk to, and I make friends pretty quickly. So it wasn't as difficult as I thought it would be, but it was manageable, and I had a lot of fun. Yeah.
Great. So you said you're currently an accounts manager at Orbit Health. I've also mentioned that. So working on project management, let's start with something fun and something light. If you had to choose one thing to run a project, it could be time, budget, team, or an easy government policy. Which one would you choose?
I wish you didn't have to make me choose, because all of them seem pretty important. But if gun to my head, if I had to choose, I would probably choose team, because I think having the perfect team, or like a very capable team, and a team most importantly that communicates together pretty well together, is the most important thing to have anywhere in project management, especially, I believe. And I think if you have a well communicative team, you can achieve most things. You can have you can talk, and you can talk to each other and adjust your time, your budget, and you can do things accordingly.
Yeah, I agree. So you have spoken about the importance of team. So how important is your team to you at Orbit Health, and what roles do they play in your life or in the project as a whole?
I wish they didn't hear this, but yeah, they are pretty important to me. I think without them, I don't think any of what we're doing would ever be possible. And they're literally the core of our living, or how we survive as a company is based on our team. The team we have is pretty brilliant. I think this is what I say everywhere, but I don't know how it happened even, because we got really lucky with our team. Everyone is so different. We have so much talent in one room, and it's crazy to me, because they're very nice, and we have very good communication, and I actually really like them. It's not just as a work label, or as a colleague. I count most of them as my close friends, so it's pretty nice. Yeah.
Great. So it's a shout out to the Orbit team as well.
Most definitely, yes.
So we're discussing about project management, and there might be an audience listening that do not know about project management. So if you could explain the concept maybe in simpler words, that would be great.
So I think project management by itself is a very vague term. It's very wide, but simply you can just say, if you have one work to do, or if you can just think of it as a school project, or an assignment, and you have to assign like different people to do their job, and you have to assign different timelines, like 15 minutes to do this job, or like 1 day, or like 3 days. And there are a lot of ways you can do this, and to be more effective, you have a project manager that can facilitate these things for you.
Mhm.
So assigning your resources to a specific project, like time, budget, as we've mentioned, and having like really good communication, and finally like coming together and working together is what managing as a single project is.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. As you said, project management is time bound, and that can be challenging, especially when you have to do a lot of tasks in that time span. So, what are the challenges that you encountered so far managing a project? I'm sure you have faced a lot of challenges, so you can just choose the ones that you face frequently.
So yeah, as you mentioned, all projects are time bound, but so for example, if you're talking to like a client and you've discussed all the requirements, what they need, and after that you've discussed with your team, you've laid out all your plans, and now you've started working, and you're starting to show them your progress. But whenever you're showing them your progress, your clients just might have newer ideas because you're giving them newer
Mhm.
progress, right? So whenever clients keep on adding new ideas, there's this term called scope creep in project management.
Yeah.
So it's like your scope becomes bigger and bigger,
Bigger.
and your timeline just gets bigger and bigger, and you don't know how to handle that. So
Yeah.
that's literally the worst thing that can happen to any project manager, because sometimes it's really hard to handle it.
Mhm.
But I think these things are supposed to be handled at the first stage, on the
Yeah.
requirement gathering stage. When you have a conversation with your client, you need to be direct and clear, or where your boundaries lie.
Mhm.
So when these things occur, you need to discuss the terms of
Yeah.
how you're going to accept these new changes into your project, and not delay any time. And your team might just be frustrated if you keep adding on work on them. So there are a lot of things, but I think this is the most frequent thing that keeps happening, and I think, yeah, this is the toughest. Yeah.
Yeah, so definitely, as you mentioned, being transparent and having a very good communication with your clients are very essential when running a project. So you mentioned one biggest challenge that you faced, but I also want to take it into you're a female, and let's take it to the gender perspective. So as a female in a male dominated workplace, especially in our sector, what is your experience of authority resistance, or people's perspective on women leadership?
Um. So I think it would be a total lie if I say I have never like encountered any negativity from anyone, because
Yeah.
because of my gender or anything. But I think you have to face it in a different perspective, because if people aren't used to women that are in managing positions like this, you have to come in like be more charming, you have to be more smiley, you have to be more understanding, you have to talk more and listen more. And these things are necessary for your job to go well now. So I know if I was, at least I guess, if I was the opposite gender, I wouldn't need to be as charming, or I wouldn't need to prove myself as much. But I think this is very important as a female, and I think this is what we have to do now. So I think it's okay, but I don't take it as a total negative thing, because at the end of the day, I do my job and I do it right. But yeah, there are certain things that occur, and you have to deal with them in a certain way.
Yeah, definitely there are gaps even in the workplace as we work. but definitely we should not also overlook the progress that has been made over the past year. Thank you for sharing. That was very insightful, and as a female, I definitely relate. So maybe to make this topic a little lighter, you can share a funny story or just any story that you stumbled up on as a female project manager that you thought, wow, this is different, and not any kind of man would never face this.
Yeah. When you said this, one thing came to mind. So when I was working at this place, I think I was in fourth year, and I was a software developer then, but and we developed this, I think ERP system for a person, and we were 4 girls. We were a team, and we showed him. He was very appreciative. He really liked the system, and I think that was our final day on the job, and we were just saying our goodbyes, and he kind of huddled us into a meeting, and he literally, with a straight face, told us, I feel like you guys are going to be hostesses when you guys graduate, and please don't. I didn't really take it as a negative thing, but he was very worried we would become hostesses and we would leave our jobs or our careers. He was like, I know it's easier to go down that road, but please don't. You guys are very smart and whatever. But he went on and on about why girls go into these markets. I don't know why, but he went on and on. And I remember thinking, oh, so that's what people think we would become, rather than being actually like what we learned 4 or 5 years. We were just dropped out into doing other things. So that was one story that got stuck in my head. But
yeah, definitely. If there are audiences listening who are male, I'm sure this is also good advice not to put women in a box. I feel like every job is very respectable, but in a way they shouldn't put everyone in the same box, because as females we are also very different. So maybe to move on, now that you're a project manager and you're not a hostess, tell me what gave you the skills to be a project manager?
So I think Pazion and group just kind of believed in me from the get-go, because I was just a fresh graduate looking for a job, and I was not finding whatever I was looking for. I was just very scared, even though I lasted a month without a job. That was the scariest month of my life. But yeah, I think they just took a chance upon me, because I think it's my communication skills, and I was very loud, and I was expressing myself clearly, and Pazion kept saying, yes, she's active. That's a good trait, and I think that's what they trusted from my interview, I remember. But working at Orbit kind of gave me the confidence I needed, and I learned so much, and I think that's what gave me the skills is working here.
Great. Thank you for this amazing conversation. It was very insightful. I definitely learned a lot from you, and I'm sure our audiences also had so much fun listening to you. Just as a closing, is there anything you'd like to say, an advice, a comment, an acknowledgement, anything?
Thank you so much for having me first here at Orbit Innovation Hub. So that's very nice. I'm really happy to be here. And as a comment, I think everyone should go for whatever they are thinking or dreaming, and they should go for it. They should just try it, and they should be more confident, and they should express themselves more clearly and confidently. I think everyone will be okay.
Great. Thank you so much, Bars. I hope to have you on another episode with much greater time. Thank you, everyone, for listening to us.
Thank you so much.